Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining once again. In the previous training, we have gone through the basics of the CloudVPN and what the CloudVPN actually is and can do. In today's video, we'll talk more in depth into the different applications that we have in the CloudVPN portal. So without further ado, let us now start with the training that we have today. So in this video, what we'll be covering would be three things. So we'll be talking about the typical use cases for the CloudVPN. Next, we'll talk about a bit of our portal, and then we'll do a specific information sharing about the page management and have a little walkthrough of the page management in this video as well. So what are the typical use cases of the CloudVPN? So number one, the very typical use cases of the CloudVPN is actually accessing distributed machines. So usually in this customer field that we have, it's usually the customers who are building their machines and then selling the machines off to their end users as well. So things like packaging machine and whatnot in this case. So for this kind of customers, it's usually installed for them. What they do with the CloudVPN is, number one, they have the VPN to actually remote to go in to the system. Is either to maintain all the devices that they have in the system, or they can actually log in to troubleshoot if there's the requirement for that. So for example, if they want to do a firmware upgrade of their PLC, having a VPN is actually very useful in this kind of situation. Besides that, when a customer has some issues with their system and they have a HMI running, having the option to use the VNC service on the CloudVPN portal itself is an added bonus, because you get to see an exact mirror screen of what the users on site is claiming to have issues with. So that is actually a very useful feature as well. So like I mentioned, VNC is something that our customers within this field do constantly use. Next, you can actually add more value to this form of customers by simply offering or signing up with our Cloud Notify for basically having alarm. So the Cloud Notify itself, in the previous video we mentioned, we do actually have logging and notify. So the notify itself basically allows you to monitor the tags without having to store them. And then using the monitoring function of the Cloud Notify, you can actually get email and push notifications, whether it's email or through the phone in this case, to actually get it onto get some notifications on your system. So for example, if you have a temperature sensor that is running, and then you want to be notified whenever there is an temperature exceeding certain level for X number of minutes, and then you want an information or you want some notification on that. So you can actually use Cloud Notify to do that. Next, we have the second type of most common customers that we have. We have the customers who are actually owning a lot of different machines in this case. So besides owning a lot of machines, they also require some form of dashboard services that they want to provide to their customers. For example, they want to see their OOE. They also want to see like if there's any faults or how much material or how much products or the things that they have produced using the machines that they have bought from our customers in this case, or your customers in this case. So having a cloud dashboard with the right number of values and all the historical data is definitely be a very good addition to this form of customers in this case. So the customers who we have now using this form, this kind of customers that we have in this case, are using a lot of cloud logging to collect key metrics of their machine health in terms of how long they have been running, what's the temperature, whether it has exceeded and how many times they have exceeded, how many products or parts has it produced, things like that. They also are able to create dashboards showing different types of metrics for different stakeholders. So for example, the maintenance engineer is definitely more interested in how long it has been running and when is the next service due in that sense. Whereas the sales or the manufacturing or the logistic department might be more interested in the dashboards just to show how much they have produced, what is the average production rate, things like that per machine in that case. So having the ability to create different dashboards and assigning it to different stakeholders, that is actually also a very flexible and very well-liked solution for all our users that have been using the Cloud VPN. And then you can actually add more value in this sense that if the customer is already using cloud logging, you can actually log different kinds of data in terms of how much raw materials they're using if you're supplying parts for them in that sense. So that could actually translate to better after-sales services in terms of consumable or preventive maintenance as well. So you can actually buy that subscription on your own and also update your service level or upgrade your service level in this case. Next, and the final case that we'll be talking about today would be the advanced monitoring using business intelligence, of course. So in the previous example, we've talked about customers building basic dashboards for different users and different views, but we do have a small portion of our customers who want more from the Cloud VPN services and what it can provide in this case. So they're actually using the Cloud VPN API. So what the API does is it actually gives you a method, well-written method to access the data and information in the Cloud VPN portal securely, and then have that displayed or imported into a third-party system. So some of our customers are using their own websites that they build, own system that they build. Some of our customers are actually using tools such as Microsoft Power BI that actually can talk directly using the API services and then grab data and build customized reports and dashboards using the Power BI in this case. So like I mentioned, customers are actually using the API, which is based on REST API, if you are interested, and then actually importing those information into their own system of choice to create reports. What they can do is also build up a live monitor of multiple different values of machines. So you can have temperature, temperature of multiple different machines, in this case, residing all over the world, has its own dashboard inside your web app or Power BI dashboard in this case. So this brings extra value, of course. So the next thing that we'll talk about is actually to get to know the Cloud VPN portal. So what is it inside the Cloud VPN portal, of course? So we have 4 apps that is in the Cloud VPN portal. So the number one, we have the app that we have is actually the portal app. So in the portal app, you are actually it actually gives you the card view, the list view, the map view, and the where you invite users. Number 2, we have the admin app. The admin app gives you the company management, the roles and group management, the license management, and of course the VPN data usage and audit trails as well. So the next one we have is the fleet manager. So under the fleet manager, what you do get is the device management. So where you set and configure the devices once it's online. It's also where you set the device templates and also tools as well. So tools is probably the very first sub app that you need to use when you start off with the CloudVPN. So if you have watched the video on how to add a router into your system, the tools is actually probably the first place that you have to visit to create the router configuration as well. And then finally, we have the Studio app. So the Studio app is where you actually create the different pages and also different cards as well. So we will do a slightly more detailed explanation in the following parts of this video to talk about the different smaller points that we have. So next, we'll talk about the Portal app. So like I mentioned just now from the previous slide, we do have different views in the Portal app. So this is where you have the list view or the card view in this case. So in this example, what we do have is the card view that you can get from different that you can actually customize. So we actually customize different card views for different devices in this case, but you're free to customize with templates or without templates in this case. So depending on what kind of machines you have connected, you can actually display different information as well. So within the Portal app itself, the things that you can do is to change the view and the groupings. You can also change it to list view or map view depending on what you require. This is also where you invite new users as well. So that will be on the users over here. And then you have the card view as well. So the card view, like I mentioned, this is the different card view as well. So and what's important to know for the pages is actually where you clicked in. So once you click into the devices itself, it will show you the different pages that each device can have, of course. So next, we'll talk about the admin app itself. So within the admin app, these are the following things that you can actually do. Number one, it's where your company management is. So basically, you can change the identity of the company, the name, the country, the branding color. So everything you can actually change in this case, and also the title side, and also the favicon. Favicon is the small icon you have on the browser tab. So you can actually customize the user experience and the branding that you want to give to your customer or end user in this case. After that, you actually can do roles and group management as well. So basically, you can create different company roles and then different groups for different users. So we will release or we will have an additional video just to go into how to actually do user management inside the CloudVPN portal. So that will be an extensive video for that on its own. So don't worry if you are slightly confused of what is roles and groups now. That will be in another video later on. Next, we have the license management as well. So license management is where you can actually, as a company, add multiple different licenses as well. So license management, you can either directly apply it to a device on its own using the fleet manager that we'll talk about later, but you can also actually add multiple licenses into your company without having to activate them yet. So in theory, you can buy, for example, 10 licenses and then activate them one by one, of course. And also, this is the location where you can actually check out how much VPN data you are using as well. So it's always good to monitor how much data you're using because you never know how much data subscription you might need if you're using a SIM card service, of course. So this can actually give you a good overview on how much data you're using as well. And finally, it's also where the audit trail is. So audit trail is always important. So you can actually see what's going on, who has been doing what, and that can actually be very useful information in order to trace back to have some traceability in terms of when thing goes wrong and you want to do some fault finding or investigation as well. So having an audit trail is definitely a very big plus using the CloudVPN. And next, what we'll talk about is the Fleet Manager app itself. So the Fleet Manager app basically is where you can actually configure the devices that you already have, in this case, in your system. And you can also do things like change. So when I say device management and configure the router, so you can change the IP address, you can change the different kind of WAN connection your device is having, in this case as well. So if you do remember in the part 1, the video that we have previously, I talked about how the device management flow actually is. So whenever you make a change on the portal itself, it's written into a file in the portal, and then it's not on the device until you press push. So making the changes on the portal here, after that you have to press push to actually make the changes on the device itself. And then following that, we have the device templates. So the device templates itself basically allows you, for example, if you are selling 4 different kinds of machines. So this 4 different kind of machine has IP addresses and HMI fixed and different number of devices that you want to connect to. So, but they will always stay the same within the same machine type, for example. So what you can do is actually you can create the very first router profile. So you create a first router profile for machine type A, for example. Once you're done with that profile, you can actually apply it, save it as a template. That means that whenever or after you add in a new router to the portal later on, basically just load this template into the new router, and then it will have all the information, including the IP address, the different services that you have set up in terms of VPN, HTTP, or and also if you are doing cloud logging or cloud notify, or the name of the tags, or the name of the logging details, how much you're logging, how fast you're logging, things like that would be saved into the template. So using this, you can actually save a lot of time if you have repeated installation of the same kind. Or you can even do a basic halfway configuration and then fine tune it later as well. And finally, within the Fleet Manager app itself, we do have the tools. So tools, like I mentioned, is the very first thing you use when you do visit the CloudVPN itself. So this is where you create the router profile, install your VPN client, etc., etc. So, and finally, we have the Studio app. So the Studio app is actually where you create the different cards and pages on its own. So like I mentioned, cards are the small preview that you get when you log into the portal. And then pages are whenever you clicked in to see the portal as well. So the question that you have now is probably how do you create and assign different pages and cards, of course. So the next portion of this video, we'll walk through slightly on the creation of pages and cards. It's basically more or less the same. So let's go through that. So to do the page management in the portal, basically go to Studio, like I mentioned, and then create a new page, of course. So once you create a new page, you'll be able to see it's a blank canvas. So when you have a blank canvas, and then the first thing you want to do is to actually add different components, of course. So when you click the drop down, add in the new component, and then you realize that nothing is loading, nothing is showing up. And that is actually normal because the page that you created is not tied to a specific device yet. So it's not sure what data to show you. So how do we fix that, you might ask? So basically, you can go to the top left corner, select the device that you want to, and then it will actually preview the information that you get from that device itself. So this is actually the actual data that you have selected here from this router that you have selected here. And that's very easy. Then you can just click on publish, and then you have published the new test page. So how do you view the new page? So if you are fast enough, and if you clicked into the router through the portal, the main portal itself, you will come to the interface with the different pages available. And if your eyes is quick to notice, your new page is actually missing. So where is it? So here is the thing you need to know. Whenever you create a new page or a new part or page or card in this case, it's not tied to any specific router until you assign that router to it to have it. So the next step, we'll walk through in how to actually add the new page to your device. So basically what you can do is to go to within the Fleet Manager, click into the device that you are trying to edit or trying to add the page to, go to View, and then click on Add a New Page. Okay. So once you click on Add a New Page, what you get is you can select the new test page that you have created, and then click on the access category and just put it as access category A. It's okay. We'll have, like I mentioned, all this access category will be actually talked about and explained in another video. So just leave it as category A for now. Press Add. And then once you have pressed that, if you go back to the pages, that page will actually show in the interface once you clicked into the router itself. So that's actually how easy it is to actually create a new page as well. So we have come to the end of the video. So I hope you guys can remember the three things that we have gone through today. So number one is the typical use cases. So the three use cases of the different types of machine builders and how advanced features that they can get in terms of multiple dashboards for different end users, or using the API to actually connect to a third-party system to display or create very customized views or reports for their end users. So number two, we actually went through to getting to know about the different portal and where you can find different features, such as where to go when you want to create a new router, or where to go when you want to create a new page, or where to go if you want to change the company's color theme as well. So I hope you can remember that. And finally, we actually walked through in terms of a bit of the page and also card management. I understand that we did not show any things about the card management, but basically the idea is the same as the page management. The only difference between cards and pages is that a device can have multiple different pages in its interface when you clicked into it, but you will always only have one card view in the main portal. That's it. So that is the things that we have went through in this video. So I hope it's clear enough for you to proceed. And like I always say, the best way to actually learn about the CloudVPN is to go on, play around with it. Don't be afraid to break it in the sense, because everything can be factory resetted or deleted and go back to the default state for you to try again. So it's always good if you can do some hands-on on your own. So with that said, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it, and have a good day wherever you are. Goodbye.